Hey folks, Adam here.
And I'm Amy.
And we have a discussion where we're going to tell you all the fun parts and everything you need to know about
traveling to Medellin, Colombia. We took our first trip to Colombia last November. I think we're probably going to go back in a few months.
Yeah.
So we absolutely loved it, and we can't wait to tell you all about this fantastic country, beautiful, beautiful city, and why it should be on your upcoming travel bucket list.
Yeah, we've got a lot of cool things to talk about. Comunitraces, Poblano. We're going to talk about the food, the people, how friendly they are. But before we get started, don't forget to click that subscribe button because we've got tons of fun travel content to Latin America, videos coming up. We're going to Barcelona, Rome, Spain, everywhere around the world. So click that subscribe button and join us on our travel adventures.
Thank you guys so much. So to start off, why you should consider traveling to Colombia, specifically the beautiful land of eternal spring of Medellin. So I just want to start by saying the people of Colombia are some of the most friendly,
They're wonderful people,
amazing people on the planet. So if you are looking for a destination that is going to really make you feel like you are so welcome and so at home, Medellin is that city. Colombia is that place. The people, I cannot say enough good things about. They're absolutely fantastic, so warm, and honestly, like, let's say, they're beautiful.
attractive people.
I mean, men, women, children, every person in that country should be a model. Like, it's crazy. It's insane.
We met some people there. Alejandra, shout out to her, absolutely gorgeous. And you know, we first started seeing things about Medellin because we watched YouTube videos and we were like, man, we want to go there. I think we probably saw Volpe visit Medellin and we're like, oh, some of those communities look really fun. Some of those people in the nightclubs in the districts, they look fun. So we headed there and we've got a lot of cool tips to pass on to you.
Absolutely. So, just so you know, the people are super friendly. Everyone is going to probably greet you with hola parce and just be welcoming and try to help you out. Spanish obviously is the official language. In a lot of the tourist places, you will also find English pretty widely spoken, but if you have some Spanish skills, they'll come in handy in Colombia, obviously.
Yeah.
Medellin is the land of eternal spring. It's kind of their city nickname, and for good reason. It's such a beautiful climate year-round. Doesn't matter when you go, 365, you're probably going to have temperatures that are like 75 degrees, beautiful sunny weather, and let me tell you, if you want to visit a place that looks like the actual Garden of Eden, what I could imagine that would look like, is Medellin. It's so green, it's so lush. There's like plants literally growing out of everything. Every room, every rooftop, every surface, there's just life. It's in bloom all the time. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed, we went to a couple high-rise buildings, office buildings, we went to medical parks, we went a lot of different places. And even on the 15th floor, they would have the windows open, slotted, and air just flowing through all year because the weather is constantly like air conditioning. It's a beautiful breeze up there, feels great. And then they would have plants growing on the inside. Like, we don't grow plants like that. We have a freezing season here in Florida. Like, we have a time frame where it gets cold and things draw back a little bit. Not there. Things just consistently grow, and I think that's why they can grow coffee and other goods so easily in Medellin because they got such a temperate and consistent climate, and their days 12 hours because they're so close to the equator. They have the same wake up time, the same sunset, and the same sun up every single day. It's a different place. I'm from the United States. Amy's from the United States. It's different than what we're used to. Oh, and also leave us a comment. Where are you used to so we can kind of craft our videos? Where are you from? I think about 29% of our viewers are currently from the United States. That leaves a lot of people from other countries. So tell us where you're from so we can compare.
Absolutely. So, I guess the elephant in the room, talking about Colombia, we got a lot of side eyes from people saying that we were planning on visiting.
Unsafe.
Especially Medellin is probably one of the most notorious cities in the world, would you say?
Yeah.
They have a reputation.
If you've watched a lot of TV shows and documentaries, it doesn't sound good.
They have a big reputation, but let me tell you, they've done a lot. I mean,
wonderful.
leaps and bounds to completely turn that around and do a total 180.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are safety concerns in some places in the country. It's not perfect. I'm not trying to gloss over that. There are definitely parts of the city that you probably shouldn't go as a tourist, and other parts of the city that you can go if you have a local guide. However, there are two neighborhoods that are considered pretty safe, of course, for tourists and digital nomads, and those are El Poblado and Los Laureles. Los Laureles was recently voted the coolest city in the world. I don't even know how you live up to that. I should not be allowed there. I'm not cool enough for that.
Right.
But no, Biscuit. He's trying to join us today. Those
Coolest city.
are very cool neighborhoods, and they're reasonably safe for tourists, and they're definitely places that you should check out. You're going to be able to stay in beautiful, beautiful world-class hotels, go to some of the best restaurants you've ever been to in your entire life, have great amenities like really cool gyms and awesome spas and massage parlors, crazy good nightlife, things like that. And you're going to be able to do it for really, really cheap compared to the cost of living in the United States.
I feel like in some places and some things like a hotel room were less than half what I would pay locally. So that was really a treat. You go out to a restaurant and pay half as much, you get a steak, you're not paying nearly as much as I do here in Florida.
So that definitely is why Medellin in particular and those two neighborhoods that I mentioned are becoming hotspots for digital nomads. So if you're somebody that works remotely, works from home, this is a great chance to maybe do some extended travel. Consider Colombia, consider Medellin, because they have just safe, stable places to be and great internet access.
Yeah.
That is
Very
super fast, and there's Wi-Fi pretty much.
My Verizon worked just
everywhere.
fine down there. It was $10 a day more to be able to use my Verizon wireless plan there. The thing I will talk about, because Amy's talking about safety as one of the topics, be smart. I didn't feel comfortable just leaving my cell phone out.
Right.
Don't leave it on the table. I've known people personally who kind of just get their stuff snatched. There's a lot of people on motorcycles who will just drive by and grab something off of you and peel out, and you have nothing you can do about it. You're in a foreign country, you don't speak the language. Now, as a positive, a lot of those tourist districts intentionally protect you. They don't want tourists to be targets because then nobody spends money. Nobody goes there. So your local vendors are literally looking out for you, and they have security, if you will, that are keeping an eye on the area and keeping an eye on the tourists to protect you, because you don't want to have a tourist zone that the tourists don't feel safe to shop. That being said, keep your phone tucked away, don't leave things in outside pockets. There are a lot of people that are living on a lot less money than probably you are, who, if you're young and you don't have much money and you see someone walking around with a $1,000 iPhone, he becomes a target for you. So keep an eye on that. And even if you think you're strong, I've seen 300-pound guys, bodybuilders, get their phone grabbed. Mark got his. They reached into his cab and tried to grab it. Fortunately for him, they dropped it. But you do have to be smart in that country.
It's a thing. That being said, while you will have great cell service and internet access, you can get Wi-Fi pretty much anywhere. Cafes, restaurants, bars, hotels, everywhere's going to have pretty fast Wi-Fi. There'll be a QR code where you can scan and log in. You may want to make sure, if you're from the United States, to download WhatsApp before you go to Colombia, because in Colombia, a lot of the local cell plans don't include texting, or texting is very expensive. So WhatsApp
Everyone
is
uses WhatsApp.
the main mode of communication. So if you meet any new Colombian friends, which I encourage you to, talking to them is going to be done probably via WhatsApp. Also, if you are trying to book a tour or communicate with any office or hotel or anything like that, it's most likely going to be through WhatsApp. It might seem a little strange if you're from the United States and
A lot of countries
we don't
use
use
WhatsApp.
that, but it is like a totally legit means of communication, and more
Booking
than
and
likely,
scheduling.
yeah, if you are booking a tour, don't think it to be weird that they're just like, message me on WhatsApp and then, okay, your tour is scheduled, we'll see you at 12. And
Not wrong.
it works out.
Yeah.
That being said, so we kind of talked about some of the safe neighborhoods to visit. Definitely El Poblano, Los Laureles. Another neighborhood that I definitely suggest that you check out, you probably wouldn't want to stay there, is Communitraces.
Yes.
So you want to talk about that a little bit?
So Communitraces is actually built on a hill, and historically it was run by narcos, so it was not a place that you would want to go. The government then took it back by both buying and using the army to push back the locals, and opening it back up to a friendly environment. So now it's a huge tourist area. Now, if you're not set for walking, you don't want to walk or hike, this isn't the trip for you. But Communitraces is a zigzag, pretty much up a hill, of street vendors and local stores. We've got some footage of us at like a popsicle shop there. We are picking up stuff. We get T-shirts. You go all the way up, and in fact, at the top of the hill, there's some photo opportunities where you look over the entire city. There's like a giant hand that you stand on, and it looks off the side of a mountain. Really fun stuff. A lot of cool bars and singing and just fun things going on. So a beautiful area. My favorite part, you know what it was?
What?
The dancers. They were just fun breakdance groups and troops that were out there having a good time. Young kids who are enjoying life, and there's a lot of cool street vendors. I picked up some different, street meats,
food, yeah.
And there's a lot of street dogs there that if you don't eat all your meats, they will take it for you without any question.
Yes. So Communitrace is a must-see if you're visiting Medellin. It's a beautiful, vibrant community. It's so great to see what the residents have been able to do there because they've endured so many atrocities in their lives, and now they've just had this renaissance, and it's a vibrant neighborhood full of color and beautiful art, murals everywhere. They're absolutely famous for it. They have these really cool escalators going up the side of the mountain to where you can go to the top of this neighborhood. You might actually take a sky tram like on the way there. Think like on the way to a ski lift is the closest thing that we have in the United States, probably, to go to the top of a mountain. But really, really incredible stuff, and just a really cool human experience to see the dancing and the colors and just all of the life that's there.
When we were there, the ski lift was out of service, so we did walk it. We did a tour group that took us through the metro, got us to that district. You can also take a cab there, and I think if I was to go again, I would just take a cab there, walk it, and take a cab out. That would be the quickest way of seeing the area, but there's a lot of different ways to do it. So do whatever your adventurous heart wants to do, whether it's take that cab there, find a tour group. We did Airbnb. Isn't that where you found yours, or where did you find yours this time?
It wasn't Airbnb. I don't remember the exact service, but you can find a million of them.
You use WhatsApp to find them.
Yeah, usually locals do suggest that you go with a guide. Not so much that Communitrace is still dangerous, but more so because they want you to fully understand the experience. I think they want you to understand the history of that neighborhood and exactly what the murals mean, and you're gonna get a lot more out of it if you do go with a guide, especially on that first time.
In Medellin, if you go to some of the more local districts, they always recommend, because you don't have to pay much for a guide, pay someone to show you around, but that person's looking out for you, making sure you're not being pickpocketed, making sure you're not a target, making sure you get to where you need to go, telling you the stories, making it more interesting. And the locals really like that because you're contributing to the local economy. If you just, it can be $10. It doesn't have to be much, and just pay a guy to show you around for a couple hours. They're happy to do it, and it will hopefully improve your experience.
It's a win-win-win.
And I've known people that just go there, and you'll have local kids who are standing there like, do you want a tour? Pay them $10 and they'll walk you up the mountain. They'll walk you to different shopping areas, whatever you want to see.
So we mentioned when we were talking about Communitrace is kind of going up that mountain and seeing views of the city. And one of the coolest things I think about Medellin is there are insane views pretty much everywhere. There's so many skyscraper, high-rise type buildings, and it's all in this mountainous region to where you just get to see so much. And for me, I've never seen anything like that. Have you?
No.
I mean, the city, it's all beautiful red brick. It's kind of in this mountain basin. It's like you just see for miles and miles and miles of just gigantic city, beautiful
Hills, green,
hills, and
a lot of growth.
everything is we're from Florida, we're from a very flat place where you can't see that much, so having the mountains and the skyscrapers and being able to see so much was really, really cool. I really liked that.
Absolutely.
So,
Medical tourism.
yes.
What do you want to tell them about that?
Well, medical tourism in Colombia is very popular. In addition to there being a lot of, like I said, digital nomads and tourism in general, one of the big reasons for people to come to Colombia is medical tourism.
They've got great medical facilities.
They really do. Like, I mean, top-notch, state-of-the-art. Dentistry, plastic surgery, and just in general, any kind of medical is first-rate in Colombia. I absolutely trust it, and it's definitely a lot easier on your wallet, as you like to say, than doing things in the United States. And in my opinion, there's a lot of really, really caring and compassionate providers there that will make you feel so special and almost go a step beyond than I think you're accustomed to getting in the United States. When we were there, I got my veneers done and my teeth fixed. I had been in an accident and my front 3 teeth had been knocked out a few years ago and replaced with some caps that didn't look too great and didn't quite fit. My bite was off and I had several issues going on. I was able to do that in Colombia for
A third the price. What do you?
maybe a tenth of the price.
Wow.
I don't know. I've been quoted wild ranges in the United States. But also I'd been passed around, treated like kind of a burden, and never felt welcome or comfortable.
They
And
treated you so good.
they treated me amazing. Dr. Arias, like, shout out. Like, oh my god, it's gonna make me cry. Like,
He was
like,
wonderful. His
legit.
staff was wonderful.
His wife is an angel. Like,
They were wonderful. They were great.
Are so great. So definitely, if you are thinking about that procedure or that dental thing or whatever it is, and Colombia is on your map, or maybe it wasn't, look it up. They are fantastic, and it's something that you can get some of the best treatment in the world by some of the kindest people.
Yeah. We've looked at some of the medical procedures and the doctors, and we've discussed and we've interviewed people, and the same people who are doing princes in Dubai and the richest people in the world are traveling to have their practice in Medellin. So it's not like it's second-rate doctors. These are high-end, impressive doctors, the top people out of Latin America, and they are really sharp.
In facilities that will blow your mind.
They're
like
gorgeous.
Gorgeous, like look from the future. I've never seen anything like that in like Beverly Hills in the United States. It's crazy. So definitely, if you're thinking about medical tourism, Colombia should be like your #1 spot. It's just insane.
And when they say tourism, it really is, because they treat you like you're at a resort when you go to these facilities.
Yeah, it's like going to a spa, not kind
Going
of
to
a
the
doctor.
dentist, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
If your dentist is an experience where you walk in and they have champagne for you and they treat you well and it looks like something out of the future, well, it's a lot better than the dentist I go to here in Florida.
In the strip mall.
In the strip
By
mall,
Publix,
yeah. Yeah, that charges you way too much for x-rays.
Right.
Should we move on to food?
Yes. So one of your favorite things about Colombia.
Surrounded by animals here.
They like this. So what, like your favorite?
I love food. We have a lot of video of me eating food here. Some of our Colombia videos are just me checking out the fast food and the brisket. And the thing I got to tell you is, first off, it's real food. They don't have that fast food mentality. You go to a restaurant like Ruby Tuesdays or Chili's, it's pre-prepared, packaged, processed food. You go there to a restaurant and you're getting an actual piece of chicken, an actual piece of fish, actually prepared on the spot by the chef. So it's a different quality of food. The price is significantly less than what I was used to paying. In many cases, half as much. You get a hamburger for $4 or $5, which I feel like you can't get a hamburger for $9 or $10 here in Tampa right now. So I was very happy with that. It's not spicy food. A lot of people are under the assumption that Latin food is going to be incredibly spicy. Colombian food is not spicy. It's very salt and pepper, It's sometimes sweet, and their breakfasts are much more hearty than what we're used to. So just consider that. And you know what? While you're there, you gotta hit an empanada stand. There are so many breakfast empanadas, chicken empanadas, and steak, and they've all got individual customized hot sauces and seasoning and ranch that you can put on them that are really, really good, and you gotta try them all.
Yeah, you liked the garlic sauce.
Yeah, the garlic, yeah. So it was like a creamy garlic. And so there's a lot of different fun things there. The food is out of this world, and it's fun to try different foods for what's really a deal.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely super fresh. Everything tastes, like you said, just real. You know, it's not like the GMO or the, just this, like you have a tomato and you're like, oh my goodness, like this really, really tastes like a real tomato. And my Spanish teacher, Angela's from Bogota, and she always jokes with me that they don't have spices in Colombia, they just have salt and pepper. So again, don't expect things to be super spicy. It's all really basic, but it's so fresh and it's so delicious. It's definitely sort of a meat and potatoes, lots of soups, lots of stews, that kind of thing. But you'll definitely find a lot of options for everyone. And even if you are vegan, vegetarian, more health conscious, absolutely on every menu, pretty standard.
And when it comes to the tipping culture, the tip is, as Captain Lou would say, figured in. And what does that mean? It means that for they include 10% into the price of the bill. It's already there, so you don't have to tip on top of it. There's already just a set tax, a service charge that you'll see in there. So that's nice. And then when it comes to the spirits, when you order a spirit, they'll go ahead and show it to you. It isn't Gatorade, but they'll show it to you in front of you, and they'll pour it in front of you. And I think that's almost a nice bottle service type of thing where they bring it out and they pour it in front of you instead of just handing you a glass. And I think that is just a fun way to experience your spirits. Instead of having the bartender make it and then them bringing it over to your table, they pour it at your table, and I like that.
We've seen that in a lot of Latin countries, and I think it's very smart. And it almost makes me think now when I order a drink in the United States, I'm a little more like, wait a minute, I just ordered that. How do I know that you didn't give me the well instead of the brand that I, ordered? So it is interesting. The same thing you'll find is when you pay with a credit card, don't try to just hand that to your waiter or waitress. They will bring the card machine by, so your card never leaves your hand and you see the entire process. So it's a little bit more secure in that way.
And then tell them a little bit about Aquadente.
Okay, so Aquadente we got to experience. It is a Colombian spirit, I would say. It's definitely on the lighter side. It tastes a lot. It's very licorice root.
Not quite like Jaeger. It's more subtle.
More subtle.
But it is a spirit you should try while you're there. It's a very local and custom drink that people enjoy there.
It's probably going to be like the cheapest thing on the menu, but it's a really fun thing to buy a bottle of, and you will have a lot of new Colombian friends if you kind of just bring that out.
It's not expensive, $10 for a bottle or something. It's really not bad. Do you want to tell them about shopping next?
So shopping in Colombia is something that you should definitely do. We went to an absolutely incredible, huge mall. I think the Santa Fe Mall. There's one in Bogota and then one in Medellin as well. They are gigantic. Like they are so huge. They're was it 10 stories, 11 stories maybe? It was
enormous.
Crazy. Have absolutely everything from places where you can actually buy cars to every sort of store imaginable.
Top floor being a lot of food. They had a trampoline zone. They had a cinema. They had a lot going on.
Gyms and grocery stores and department stores.
Kids section.
Really, really cool stuff. And probably my favorite thing.
Luxury foods.
Biscuit's favorite thing.
You can bring your dog.
You can bring your dog to
Your dog
malls.
can go to the malls.
Yeah.
They should go to the malls.
That is like such a cool thing about Colombia. I loved it. I think
You like seeing dogs.
Pretty much every family at the mall had their dog with them, and I just thought that was really cool. You would not get to see that in the United States, and it was super fun to see there. Also, a reason that you should shop, not just because that particular mall is cool, but Colombia and Medellin in particular is known for their textiles, and Medellin is kind of the fashion capital of Colombia, maybe the fashion capital of all of Latin America. They have so many local fashion designers, and they make beautiful clothing that is crazy, crazy well made and very inexpensive. So if you want to get something that you know is well made, ethically made, like locally made from things that, cottons and things that are grown right there in Colombia, definitely hit up a local Medellin fashion brand, get some clothes there. You'll get the best jeans of your life. Really, really cool stuff. Definitely a fun thing to do. Even if you're not big into shopping, you should probably check out some clothes there.
So did you want to tell them any safety tips or anything about immigration?
Sure. Safety tips, I think the biggest one, like you said, is keep your phone
in your wallet,
in your
wallet. Passport.
Don't walk around like this because it can
Keep a
get
hold on
snatched.
things.
Keep a hold. Don't leave your phone out, on your restaurant table or whatever. Just keep a little closer, tied to your belongings. If you do take the metro, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I encourage you to don't have your backpack behind you, so people can easily get in there, and maybe not. Like, it's a smart idea to put your backpack in front, or if you I always take like kind of a crossbody bag, and I like to put it around my body and then maybe wear a shirt over it or a jacket over it.
There you go.
It makes it a little bit harder for somebody to just snatch a purse or
that
snatch something
reminds
off
me.
of you.
I was editing a video of us where we went to one of the districts, maybe Poblano or wherever, and you were wearing a flannel. And I was like, wow, she looks kind of frumpy for video. And I forgot you put that over to have your purse underneath it just to keep it a little safer.
Yeah.
And that was something even our tour guide told us when we were on the metro, because you get really packed in there. She was like, go ahead, put your wallet in your pocket, like your front pocket, and then put your hands in over it.
Yeah.
So nobody's reaching in your pocket, because they'd have to reach past your hands to get it. And just good common sense advice. Anytime you're in a country, this isn't just Colombia, but anytime you're in a country where the exchange rate favors your home country, people are going to be looking at your watches. People are going to be looking at your jewelry. People are going to be looking at your phone. So try not to wear those extravagant watches. Try not to wear that jewelry out and about. That's just good common sense in any country.
Also, if you can, try to blend in a little bit. If you make yourself look like, oh, they are not from here, that just kind of it. Again, with anywhere in the world, makes you a little bit more of a target. Medellin is a place where it's a little bit more formal. So don't go around in your basketball shorts and flip-flops.
Muay Thai shirt.
You're gonna immediately look like a tourist. It's a more formal country. People dress up. They wear pants. They wear closed-toed shoes. They look nice. So you should try to look nice, fit in, but also don't be overly flashy. You don't need to maybe wear all of your name brands, and you definitely don't need to flash your jewelry.
And we have the distinct advantage that you are a proficient Spanish speaker, so that can help you in a lot of environments too, just not be a target if you can hear and know what's going on.
Right. So there are currently, there's a bit of the immigration crisis. So obviously, we've seen a little bit about this immigration crisis in the United States, but that is nothing compared to what the Colombian neighbors of Venezuela are feeling. It's really, really sad. It's really insane, the amount of Venezuelan immigrants that are kind of
in poverty.
on the street in
They're not allowed to work, but they're there.
And it's women, it's children, it's infants. It's very sad, but it's also something that the Colombian people, and I respect our guides and the people that told us, is, hey, don't give the children money, because then
Keeps people out of school and encourages them to be on the streets.
To do that full time, and they shouldn't be doing that. They should get to be children as much as possible. So, I don't know if that's right.
I don't know what the right solution is.
I don't know what it is.
But there's a lot of immigration of very poor people from Venezuela, as last we saw in Colombia.
Yes. So
A lot of them are coming to the United States after, but
be ready for that. Be ready to see that, and be ready to, especially
it's going to tear at your heartstrings a little bit to see kids out there.
And if you are a tourist, you're probably going to be accosted by a lot of Venezuelan immigrants on the street, and it's a little bit much. For the first few days, it was a lot to see and take in. So I just want to kind of prepare you for that. And I think after being there for a few days, I realized that I wasn't necessarily in danger because of
But it was uncomfortable
that, but
at
it was
times.
very uncomfortable. It's hard to see that.
To give you an example, Amy has a very good heart. So we were filming a video where we're showing our empanadas for breakfast in the park. But when you're in the park, there's going to be a lot of people who are homeless or have situations. So somebody came up to us immediately, sat right behind our camera, kind of interrupted it, and then pretty much gave a story that their baby was sick. Could we buy diapers and formula? Well, Amy has a good heart. So we went with that person to the pharmacy. You bought them, and they just started packing stuff onto the counter, top end stuff, and you bought a couple $100 worth of supplies for a baby that may or may not exist. We to this day don't know if we were scammed, but you have a good heart and you said, you know what, I hope I helped someone, and if not, I hope I helped a baby, and if not, maybe I helped someone who just needed it in that moment. So although you can feel like maybe, hey, I helped somebody, you also wonder, it just doesn't, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to say no, and it's also uncomfortable to help someone and not know if you're being scammed.
Right.
It's rough.
Yeah, especially when there's a language barrier and you can't quite communicate. It's uncomfortable, but I would say that don't let that stop you from, I feel like almost no one should be punished for that. I wouldn't want, everything that the city of Medellin and the Colombia country has done to encourage tourism, to have this kind of dissuade people from coming and visiting and going to those neighborhoods and having a great time.
Okay, so what did you want to say about the metro and airport transportation?
Yeah, so last time, just getting around in Colombia, I definitely think that you should check out their metro, one, and two, probably use Uber. Do not try to drive there because it's crazy.
It's not like
insane.
our driving. It's not like our driving in the city anyway.
There are a ton of people, there are a ton of cars, and there are a ton of motorcycles. Like, this is the land of motorcycles, and it's a culture of motorcycles. You can imagine it being 75 degrees year round. Why would you not? Plus, you live in a packed city where parking is hard to come by. Motorcycles just make sense. However, it's crazy. They're zooming and zipping all over the place. It's very overwhelming.
Be careful getting out of a cab, getting out of a car. Don't leave the door open. Don't step out blindly. Don't step out into the street blindly.
I would say don't try to drive there.
Be careful of the streets.
Be careful at first. And know that you can get taxis and you can also get Ubers there, and they are very affordable. You will probably want to book your own private transportation from the airport, because do realize that the airport is like an hour away through a really big tunnel. It actually cuts through the mountain, so you're in a tunnel. It's like the longest tunnel in Colombia, I believe. It's like 30 minutes through a tunnel, through an actual mountain. So I would definitely suggest that you pre-arrange your airport transportation, so that way you're not trying to, I don't even know if they allow Ubers. That seems wild, but it is quite a ways, so be prepared for that. And definitely, like I said, the metro system in Medellin is a huge pride point for them. It is clean, it is relatively safe, and it's pretty cool that their metro has been operating, I believe, since like 1990. So it does look like kind of a newer, really cool thing, but it's been in operation for a very long time, and their public transportation is definitely way better than ours in Florida. Definitely way better. So it's a pretty cool thing that you should probably experience while you're there.
They don't have a lot of public transportation, but what they have is nice.
Yeah.
They maintain it well. It's not new, but it's well maintained.
Yeah.
So was there anything else you want to talk about?
So last thing I want to discuss.
We're going to talk about
We're gonna talk about
El Jefe?
it. I
No.
think I think
El
we're gonna
Patron?
I think we're gonna talk about it, right? At this point in the video, you can get away with talking about more.
I hope so. Let's not say too many words. Pablo.
So let's talk about Pablo. Just so you know, He is a very, very divisive figure in Colombia.
Yeah.
You may see that there are a lot of people probably selling t-shirts, maybe doing impersonations, trinkets,
Museums.
tourist things, museums, things of that nature, visiting his house, hippos, all kinds of stuff. But this is a little bit controversial. And again, you don't want to be insensitive or say the wrong thing in the wrong crowd. So it's a good thing to know before you go. So you're not just showing up in your favorite Pablo t-shirt and thinking you're super funny.
Can I give an example so people can understand it?
Yes.
It would be like if you had a former president that was very controversial. So if you were to come to the country and wear a Donald shirt, a lot of people would be like, all right. And a lot of people would be like, oh no.
Yeah.
And it's the same type of reaction. There's a lot of people like, right on, spend some money, talk about this guy, it's great, he gave back and he was kind of, and other people, they've had some very bad stories and bad things happen. They don't like making this person, they don't like making Pablo a cultural icon. They don't want to be associated with that. So there's a little give and take. Like obviously people like the tourism, they like people talking stories, but also if your family had ill situations because of that person, you may not want to see that person on a t-shirt.
In certain neighborhoods, for example, like Comuna 13, Pablo actually at one point poured out money into the neighborhood from a helicopter. And while they were kind of getting the bad end from both the government and other people involved, he was a bit of a savior and kind of has this like saint-like reverence.
Sponsored a soccer team. He did some things.
He did a lot of.
So took out a lot of judges.
Good things, also a lot of bad things. So again, just be a little bit, I guess, sensitive and understand
the dynamic.
That there is a very, very complicated history there, and it's probably not something that you, as an outsider or a tourist, understand well enough to, I guess, talk too much about or represent, or just don't go in, like I said, with your Pablo t-shirt and making your jokes and making your references, because that could be very offensive to the wrong person.
And because this is the internet and I don't want to get flamed, I should say I'm not trying to compare our former presidents with Pablo. I'm just saying they're controversial figures. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to say any former president is awful or anything like that.
Just more so that
by no means.
Just understand the climate of that.
It's a sensitive issue.
Yeah, it's very sensitive, and it might. While one person might sort of laugh and think it's funny, another person might be deeply hurt or deeply offended, and you don't want to start a weird bar fight over it.
That's probably enough for this, because you're not supposed to talk about sensitive issues.
Oh, yeah.
You just keep saying sensitive issues. So folks, that brings us to the end of our topics. We've talked about Comuna 13, we've talked about the shopping, we've talked about the transportation, the wonderful people, the medical tourism. From A to Z, I think we have a lot of it covered, but if we missed anything, go ahead and leave us a comment below. Again, this is a good time to remind you to click that subscribe button. Each month we have different goals for the channel, so look in that pinned comment. We may be this month giving away some ducats to our new subscribers. We may be giving away some prizes, so go ahead and look in that pinned comment and see what's going on, but make sure you click that subscribe button. I want to grow this channel, even if we have to Mr. Beast it just by giving any money we back. Because I like it. We're doing this because this channel is completely because we enjoy our experiences together. This is a good activity for us to talk about our recent travel, and then it gives us inspiration to do more travel, and we get to meet new people. We've actually met some people through YouTube, and we've become friends with them, and that's really fun. I love the format, but it's because of you, and it's because of your comments and your likes and your subscriptions that we're able to do this. So please click that subscribe button. It means so much to us. It makes me so happy. I've been able to make social media my career for over a decade now, and that just makes me very happy that people like you have made this something that we can do.
Thank you all so much. We always appreciate you. We love hearing from you, and definitely if you are from Colombia, reach out, say hello, and anyone that has been there or traveled there and has tips for us, or things that you would like to see on our return trip, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and don't forget to tell us with a comment, where are you from? Where are you living now? All right, thanks for watching, and
adios, amigos.
Adios, amigos.